Hi guys and welcome to the circus. Here we have my updated Nightmare Dolls deck profile and standard, which includes the Silver Thorn engine that I speak of in this channel. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave it in the description for you guys to see. This is by far my favorite variant of Nightmare Dolls, which I was so excited to get, and thankfully I got my cards. And I hope you guys have the latest set as well. I still don't have everything, but thankfully I got the ones that I needed. I've already played with this variant a lot of times in my CFA highlights. If you're interested, you can check it out yourself. But for now, here is the deck list that I've been working on ever since I got the cards. So let's start off with the star of the show, which are 4 copies of Carol and 4 copies of Alice. So these two right here are your primary win con, your primary engine, the ones that you need to go off as soon as you hit grade 3. Basically, if you play Nightmare Dolls, you want to have these two girls at maximum because they are the main ones that you want to keep on using every single turn, especially with your Carol and your Alice. I've already said enough about these girls in my previous deck profiles, so I guess I'm not gonna discuss any more on what I said. To round off with the grade 3s, we run 2 copies of Kamikaze Chimeras. I still don't have the English version, I'm sorry about that. Kamikaze Chimera is always gonna be a nice grade 3 to have in this list because first of all, he's a grade 3 which you can scoop in and possibly make your engine keep on going. He is a counter charger on battle phase, which is really important, and he's also a soul returner which you can scoop in your Carols or your Alices in order to keep your engine working. I used to run 3, but right now 2 is the correct number for me because we already have our grade 3 searcher, so we can just possibly search him out whenever you need to. Moving on to the grade 2s. The grade 2s didn't change much, but I still keep my 4 copies of Amaranth Beast Tamer. Again, I'm sorry for not having the English version right now. I believe Amaranth Beast Tamer is always gonna be a staple in Nightmare Dolls because she is the most free unit that you can use to scoop in your grade 3s. She scoops in anything on your board that you want to move to the souls, especially your grade 3s like Carols, Alices, and Kamikaze Chimeras. Aside from that, she can also help save some units on your board that you want to keep in your soul for next turn because you don't want your opponent to run over them on their turn. You can also run 3 of her if you want to run other cards, but right now I prefer her as 4 just to make sure that I can consistently hit my grade 3 combos on my first grade 3 turn and so on and so forth. Next, my favorite grade 2 in the list are 4 copies of Silver Thorn Rising Dragon. Rising Dragon just carries the deck a lot. I can't believe I slept on this card for a long time. He is an amazing rear guard, an amazing call target from Soul, and he is also a Silver Thorn which you can call from Sylvia, which is actually really nice. When you call 2 cards from Soul this turn, he gets +10, and that's all you needed here. On an Axle Circle, he is a 24k beat stick, so you can hit over defensives pretty easily. In this particular list and this particular playstyle that I play, he just carries the deck so well. So I want to have him in the soul as much as possible, and just having multiple copies of him is really amazing in my opinion. Finally, for the grade 2s, we run 2 copies of Sylvia. So Sylvia is the new grade 2 in Silver Thorns, but aside from the Silver Thorn deck with Venus Look here, you can also treat her as a generic unit that you can splash onto any deck. Like I said before in my Silver Thorn engine review. I only managed to get a hold of 2 of her when I purchased the cards, but as I played through, I can only see her as maximum of 3 in this list, at least in this variant of Nightmare Dolls that I play. Because when you wanna do the maximum combo with Alice, Carol, and her, it requires 3 counterblasts, so that's a lot of cost. Sometimes you have the luxury to do it, so in every game, the maximum times you wanna resolve your Sylvia is only once. You can maybe take out 1 Amaranth Beast Tamer for 1 more copy of her. Maybe I'll do it if I have more copies of Sylvia, but right now, I would prefer her as 2. She serves as the emergency button in my deck list. Like, if you didn't manage to get your engine working and you have Sylvia in your hand, she is gonna be your lifesaver to at least do a little bit more attacks on that turn, put more pressure, and just consistently snowballing your opponent until they didn't get to guard your attacks anymore. That's about it for the grade 2s. Moving on to the grade 1s. So the grade 1s changed a lot. It has more useful grade 1s now more than ever. But let's start off with our absolute staple, which is 4 copies of Nightmare Doll Beverly. Nightmare Doll Beverly should always be run in all Nightmare Doll decks in my opinion, because she is amazing behind Vanguard. You only need one copy of her. You only need one copy of her on board at most, because her only purpose in this list is to be behind the Vanguard, so that whenever you re-ride, your Vanguard always gets to 17, which helps you get over force numbers and be a magic number against Axel and Protect. That way, whenever you swing your Vanguard to your opponent's 12k base Vanguard, they will always need to guard 20,000 shield in order to go for a 2-pass. That's usually 2 cards or 1 heal trigger, so that really helps a lot when it comes to burning more hand cards. Next, I run 4 copies of Masquerade Bunny. Masquerade Bunny is an amazing card in this list because of the following reasons. First of all, she is a grade 3 searcher, which helps a lot in terms of consistency in performing your re-rides, because sometimes you just don't see the second copy of Carol. Sometimes you don't have the Alice. Sometimes you need a Kamikaze Chimera to perform more attacks. She helps a lot when it comes to that aspect. She lessens the probability of you not performing your primary engine, which is the Nightmare Dolls engine. Plus, she is also a 13k booster and a beater, which is actually really nice behind any grade 2 that we have right now. Because behind any 9k base unit, she hits for 22, which is a magic number against Axel and Protect. If you're against a force deck, that's too bad. But that is why we have Amaranth Beast Tamer right here, because Amaranth Beast Tamer's 12k base body plus a 13k is 25, so it hits over force decks as well. They just help a lot when it comes to making numbers. Plus, she is also a magic number against force because she is also a 13k attacker and a magic number on an Axel circle. Next, my favorite grade 1 in the list are 4 copies of Silverthorn Handle Grip Linnea. Linnea is one of the new additions to this list of mine because she is just an underrated card in my opinion. Some of them doesn't value her as much, but I value her in this list a lot. She does a lot of things for Nightmare Dolls. She is also a 13k attacker and a booster consistently. She is a soul charge every attack, and she is a Silverthorn. The Silverthorn part is just a cherry on top. That 5k boost plus soul charge is so damn good. Yes, you can probably soul charge a trigger, but my point here is that random soul charges can just help you grind more. Yes, you can maybe high roll some useful units in the soul. She just helps refund the cost from Alice and your Kamikaze Chimera, which is really nice. A 13k booster and attacker as well every turn. Amazing right target when going second. And along with Masquerade Bunny, they just make your columns very satisfying to attack with because they hit numbers without relying on triggers. To round off with the grade 1s, I run 1 copy of Silverthorn Conjurer Romy. I don't want to run too much of her because I don't run a pure Silverthorn variant. She's just here to support the Silverthorn engine in a way. If you don't want to run Romy, you can take her out for another grade 2, like for example a copy of Dancing Knife Dancer for a counter charge. But I still like running her, so it's not that bad of a choice. That's about it for the main list, and now we are going to move on to the triggers. It's pretty standard to be honest. I run 8 fronts, 4 draws, and 4 heals, plus the starter. 8 fronts because fronts are good. It's the main purpose of the Nightmare Doll engine, to stack fronts in the front row. 4 draws because draw PGs are still nice. You can maybe check it on your first 2 turns in order to gain more advantage. Plus, it's a perfect guard, so nothing can go wrong with perfect guards. And 4 heals still. The only sad part about heals is that when you check them on your first grade 3 turn, which will actually hurt a lot when it comes to doing your first multi-attacks. But other than that reason, heals are always gonna be good. And finally, Ionella as a starter for the Silverthorn name, and that's basically it. So that's about it for this deck list of mine. It's been really fun playing with this deck with my friends the other day. I learned so many things playing with this deck and playing with other decks as well. I want to give thanks to my friends who helped me buy the things that I needed. Thank you so much, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments so that I can answer them to the best of my abilities. I actually like getting questions from you guys because that shows that you got interested in playing Nightmare Dolls, which makes me happy to be honest. And yeah, hope you find this deck list useful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.